Konnichiwa. Alright. Welcome, heirs of our Father's promise. Alright. We're here today to speak of what? Truth and nothing but the truth. Alright. And why are we doing this? We're doing this because it's important, especially in our current time of distress and all of the things that's going on today. And how's the best way to say this? We need to know that tough times are always going to come regardless. Even if you win $300 million, 200, 180. If you win the lottery, not saying go out there and play the lottery, but for those that might be led to do so, who knows, right? Even if you win, you gain anything, know that there's always going to be tribulations regardless. It's up to you to allow it to continue, or you be the one to cut it. So we're gonna be like, let's just give it an example, right? If somebody come up to you and start yelling, knowing that that situation, whatever situation it was, why they start yelling, was not that big of an issue to you, and you have done nobody wrong, and they was just emotional about it, right? You be the bigger person. You don't pay it no mind. Walk away if you have to. Don't argue. Let them know that, okay, what I'm going to tell you, listen carefully, because you're going to be thinking about it for the rest of your life. So I'm not going to argue with you. So I told you what I told you. Understand that if you got a problem with it, you're just going to have to deal with it far away from me. Simple. No arguments. We don't argue here on here in this channel. We don't argue here. We don't argue. Why? Because it is futile to argue for the almost most pettiest things in this world that honestly we could be talking about how we can save people from committing abortions or maybe poverty, right? Rather than talking about stupid things in this world. Like, oh, you cut in front of me. You were driving a little faster than me. Like, whoa, fam, like, are you serious right now? I know you're joking, right? Are you joking? You know, like situations like that. That's why the topic of today is know that tribulations come in order is set for balance. Okay? Tribulations come in order is set for balance. There's no sense that needs to be adjusted to that because it like that when you think about it, right? If you know that you're going to be going through things in life, right? And those trials is what's going to, improve you, put you in a higher state of mind, or just give you an aspect of revelation or wisdom, right? You're going to be balanced because who brings order if it's not Eli? If Elohim don't bring you order, that means that you're not balanced. That means your heart is not balanced, your heart posture and your intent is not balanced. So when you're dealing with people that don't have an balanced heart, it makes it quite impossible for things to work out the way that things should beautifully move forward. And I'm not saying anything to anybody here, but if you are feeling triggered, 9 out of 10 you are the person that has done these things to somebody. You have been the lesser, you haven't been the bigger person, you've been the less person. The person to cause the problem, the dilemmas, to cause the casualties. And you, like I said, we speak the truth here. So if you don't like what I'm saying, next video, just saying. Alright? So what verse are we gonna, you know, get these informations from today? We're gonna get it from Psalms, obviously, 104. chapter 104. Chronicles of Psalms, chapter 104. And it's going to be very important as to why we understand this. And I'm going to speak on it further, but let's read it a little bit so that we don't stay on here too long because the other previous videos were almost about an hour. All right, let's start. Praise Elohim. Oh, my apologies. I'm gonna give you guys about 10 seconds to grab your biblioteca, your buy and bow. So if you can get there within 10 seconds, you're faster than me. But you know, I'm just a flash out here, so just quick. You gotta catch up. All right. It's been about yeah, 10 seconds so far. Let's start. Praise Elohim highly, the ruler of all majesties, clothed by glory forever. He is radiant like the sun over the entire landscape of the earth. Most of his lights shines from his dwelling place into the seas as the clouds sit carrying his name on command. Understand that everything has already been made for you, but that's his will. For his angels are radiating like fire, also raining down upon chosen collectives. Why is it that? Because the angels, just like who? Moses. The fire bush, who do you think they were speaking through? They were speaking of Elohim, but it was through the angels. Okay? Like if you watch my previous videos, I tell you exactly ways to picture certain things in your mind, like a hot marble. Go and watch, go and check it out. You're going to get a better understanding of what I'm saying. Just know that the foundation of the earth is still and it's not to be destroyed. Alright, that's verse 5. Just like above, he laid the waters over the mountains and below them. I'm not even going to say nothing about that. I want you guys to think about that in the previous statement of what I said. In his command, the mountains also stood still and shifted as well, even against storms, and from it, my apologies, it came new formations of land. Erosions, all of these things, the landscape changed because of what? Storms and all of the chaotic natural disasters that come, like hurricanes, and all of this stuff can shape so much landscape, let alone earthquakes. All of these things can shift earthquakes. Because when there's a storm, what usually happens? A lot of water comes around. Just saying. It was so that all terrains were set proportional over the surface, the sea, and the skies. All of it. For the springs gave its natural essence a residence and resided where it's supposed to be, in the valleys among the hills, nourishing all in its surrounding. And you'll know this because of the height of the type of birds. My apologies, I say hype. Because of the type of birds that sing only near those springs on trees. Like all plants, they grow when Eli allow his waters from above to reach the earth. These plants bear fruits and offer nourishment for the life surrounding them. And this is where we're going to talk about balance. Verse 14. All this was made with purpose, including the wines, oil, and bread, all purposeful and healthy to us. So, balance. For the trees produce sweets and fruits purposeful to life in its surrounding, like the cedar tree. Balance. This is also useful for the habitations of all the animals there too, like birds, there too, like birds who prep their nest on the fir trees. Just like how the mountains are formed upwards, the goats follow. Balance. Just like the sun and the moon have their moments to shine, one during the night while the other causes day. Balance. During the night, many scavengers rise to fulfill their purpose of survival. Balance. And what happens next? Just like the lions, they hunt and roar in gratitude to Eli for their meals. And this will be verse 22, and we're going to go through all of it. But when the sun rises, the lions settle in the dens, and we continue our daily routine of labor until eve. Balance. So the animals come out at night, and we come out during the day, during the same thing, but in a different form, accomplishing a purpose. Right? For even the sea divided and given order to contain the large beast and small beasts in coexistence. Alright? So everything happens for a purpose. The insects, the ants, they have a job. The bees, they have a job. And we all know this, right? All of it is done for us and for this world because Yahuwah holds everything in order. Meaning, even the molecules itself, they have a structure because the helix itself is literally a pillar. It's not a home, it's a pillar that holds a structure from one to the next. I don't know if you guys really be listening to what I be saying, but hey, we're gonna find out when you guys leave the comments in there if you have any questions. If you got any questions, please put in the comment section. If you got an answer, put in the comment section. Hey, I love to know exactly what you guys think, and that's just how I am. I'm not objective to learn and to allow myself to learn and to feel. Okay, a good response is a good response when it comes to getting good feeds. So if I can learn something that I could not understand, or maybe that I'm stagnant at, I would love to be, helped, to be taught. It's not an issue with me. And if you're saying something that just does not make any sense, hey, I have no problem letting you know. But we're not here to, like I said, argue, dispute. We're here to learn. This is a place of us so that we can edify our spirits. We can build ourselves up. We can do everything that we need to do just so that we can elevate. But let's continue. So what Yahuwah feeds them is exactly what they consume. Well, let's actually go to what's going to come before that. The Leviathan is its name, a beast that threatens many of its inhabitants. They wait for a big harvest to consume many on board in the seas. So what Yahuwah feeds them is exactly what they consume. So if Yahuwah stops giving all will die and perish. That's why his spirit is set on the order of this world cycle. Let me read that one more time. So if Yahuwah stops giving, all will die and perish. That's why his spirit is set on the order of this world's cycle. All Yahuwah made was great, and his works cannot fathom his glory, for will turn to ash. If his angels are like fire, imagine him. Just saying. As long as I can, I will always. And when I say fire, it's not that they like fire, but when you have light that shines so bright, what happens to anything that's in the physical realm that has carbon? What happens to it? Does it not ignite? It does it not, burn? Does it not start firing? Fire start firing. Fire starts firing. Does it not do that? It does that exactly, and very well. It does. hmm Let's continue. As long as I can, I will always give Elohim glory and honor forever, for he is deemed the praise, and I seek none other than him, for he is my ruler. So know the sinners will be consumed by fire on this earth into nothing on judgment day, for they are wicked and they'll be seized of their consciousness. Yes, seized of their consciousness. Remember I told you about boiling points and freezing points. If something can be obstructed, meaning matter can be formed from heat and water, right? Imagine what fire can do to undo that. The level of fire, the level of light, the level of vibrations, the level of things that are not even. See, mind you, light and vibrations are creating constructs so that there are concepts to things. Remember that. I told you that. So if you haven't learned this in science, you know that now. Or you just want to watch my previous videos. Hit the back button. And what is the next verse? So to say Know to give Elohim the praise always in your first regards. Always. 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 Why do I play too much when it comes to my singing? But we're gonna be in 105 this time, and we're gonna clear this one a little bit because it's a little bit longer than the previous one. All right, let's start. Or give thanks to Elohim and call upon his name and allow his name to be known among the congregation. So carry his name everywhere you go. That includes your integrity. Do not defile yourself or allow anybody to change your integrity. Stand on what you say, especially a lot of you men. Stand on what you believe. Not, don't be allowing people to contradict you, and don't allow these demons to contradict you through people. If you know the truth of what I'm speaking to you, know that. The same thing with you women as well. So, brethren and sisters, know that. It's not nothing that I'm telling you. Nothing I'm telling you here is a lie. All right. Let's actually start. Let's continue. My apologies. Sing unto him songs of psalms, of his wondrous exaltations. Glory to his name, and those that truly seek him, let them rejoice in him. So you must seek Eli with your heart fully always. Always have true regards of the always have true regards of him for Yahuwah for him and Yahuwah, and be grateful for his wondrous for Israel's seeds, being Israel's seeds of Abraham, being Israel's seeds, being wondrous Israel. My apologies. Let me reread that again. Always have true regards of him in Yahuwah, and be grateful for his wondrous Israel, seeds of Abraham. For he is our ruler, and he holds judgment on us all. For his promises stands forever, and now, forever now, in generations to come, that which he made with Abraham and confirmed it with Jacob. For the land of Canaan was given unto Israel as inheritance. This was done with a few members involved in the message of the promise, going to kingdom, from nation to nation, as they suffered no harm. It's gonna be verse 15. Yahuwah says, touch not minds, those full of my spirit, and do them no harm, for they are of me. Those famine came upon those who dared their attempts on them, just as he allowed Joseph to be sold to slavery, and he came out a leader even though he was tortured. Yahuwah lowered the properties of the hearts of those holding Joseph hostage before making him a ruler of their nations. Most of us royals are placed in trials, so we be taught wisdom. So let me repeat that one time. Most of us royals are placed in trials, so we be taught wisdom before stepping out to conquer. For Israel came also to Egypt, and Joseph took way to Ham, and from there many became fruitful and multiplied, and they gathered their strength. But from there they began to hate each other, and more others to many more others to come. So Yahuwah sent another reminder to them by the name of Moses and Aaron. In Ham the Egyptians' heart were hardened, even when Moses and Aaron showed them Eli's wondrous signs. Because of the nation's differences, Eli sent forth darkness to rise and distract them among themselves, and leave confusion and death with plagues also from the land to born and rivers. Born as in like Borne, as in air. Most of their crops and animals were diminished to very little to nothing. A lot of deaths accumulated in numbers, and their economy was plundered of their treasures. And all Egypt was glad once Israel left their lands because of the turmoil punishment placed upon them. As Israel departed, by the Eli led them with stars by night and the wind by day. Even much he nourished them with water, meat, and fruits across their path when they had little to zero resources left. We must remember Elohim keeps his promise no matter.
especially to his chosen people, such as Abraham, with gladness, and as promised, the land was given to them, and they inherited promise, and the inherited promise given unto them. We must observe the ethics and might of Elohim, and keep his commandments, for order is his law, so praise him in the highest. All right. So, yeah, everything was made. So we're going through trials in our tribulations, and we forget exactly why we're going through this. A lot of us, we go through a lot of problems because we choose to go through these problems without a care in the world, and it just doesn't matter no more. Where like you should not care about things that you don't need to care about. The things that you need to care about, that's what you need to care about. Okay? Because everything will be given to you in your path, regardless. Everything was made for us. It's not like the air, we share the air, we share the food, we share the water. Doesn't matter if somebody pee in a certain type of river, whatever the case is, that water is gonna recycle itself because new water is gonna come from the it's gonna come from this cloud, from the clouds, from the air. Just saying. A lot of us, we are stuck in the mindset of I, which is considered selfishness, ego. People would say because you don't look at certain things, you are immature for this and that. No, a lot of those people were taught the mindset of a robot, of a zombie, because a lot of people out here are walking zombies. They just do everything that everybody else do, following trends. When you don't follow trends and you live a life of good and of good intentions, and your heart is innocent, you show innocence of love, you don't need to worry about the things that everybody worry about. Because why? I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why you won't worry about it, because it will not make any sense to you. It doesn't. You don't desire it. It doesn't have any type of hold on you. Because that's another thing as to why when people say, "Let not your flesh control you, and let not the sin of the flesh control you," is because a lot of time, like higher density, lower mass, right? We let the things that are accumulative to the carbon, the matter of this world, to attach to us. So we treasure it. So most of our consciousness, energy that we put into things are attached to these molecular, you know, down, drought, draining objects that has been placed. Like I told you guys before, all of these technologies, all of these advancements of alchemy has been made so that it can absorb our energy. Because, like, look, it doesn't just mean that because you are doing something that something can drain you, like you have to run for you to feel drained. There's something called an energy draining, which like is also a spiritual draining, right? Draining, like DRAING, right? Draining. So there are things that are spiritually draining where you can hold a coin, money wise, and the more of your time, the more of your conscious you put on that money would absorb your energy. It doesn't have to be a metal for it to know. Anything that's in this world is considered a construct. Meaning what? Is literally the not deprived. Is obstructed by different stacks of itself infinitely to a certain level where it can create a shape to a volume, right? So a disposition where you can now have light for you to be able to differentiate the depths of what an object really is, right? So these things are very much insightful to how we're living our daily lives, because the same way that this reality is made with all of these molecular, objectives, right? This is the same way how magic works. But we call it magic, but it's just a way of life. Now, you have what magic is considered as far as alchemy, right? And alchemy is the disruption of the flow of life, which is life in general, meaning the ability to think in a consciousness, right, of good rather than bad. Magic is literally, if there was a line, right, where and this is point A and this is point B. Well, point A, point B. And from point A, there's a string right here. Matter of fact, let me just give you something physical to look at. This is point A and this is point B. And in point A, I push energy to go to point B, right? What is going to happen is with magic, right? You can cut segments of what this specific thing is. And what happened is you can shorten the distance of the energy that's passing through from point A to point B. Okay? So these things are stacked. So I told you cut in different portions. They're stacked. But then imagine it in millimeters, right? Like in such a length where you cannot even visibly see it, but they're put together so it construct this exact pen the way that you see it, the way that you can feel it, the way that you see it. If I throw this right now, you can see the depths of close and far, back and up and down, whatever, left and right. Right? You can see all of these things, right? And you cannot say that it doesn't exist because it's truth. So that's the same thing with magic. The only difference with magic is magic will cut all of these things. So if energy is supposed to be this long, right, where it's traveling from point A to point B, right? All they're doing is intersecting in between the sections of which these, energies, phenomena are being, well, these trajectories are being thrown to, right? And they're literally crafting things that can go to the side, up, and they can go to the side, up, down, whatever the case is, to project a certain type of phenomena that can alternate your reality, your perception. And we do these things because we have a physical body. So we're living in a world where our physical body is attached to the unseen world, the unnatural, well, the natural world, but this is not the natural world. This is the unnatural world, but given a construct and a limit to a law, right? The natural world, which is the spirit, is what allow us to mentally process what this is without us being able to see it physically all the time. So the concept is what is to live your life like this, so you can push and allow the flow of your mind, your heart, to be in one direction. Because a lot of times we allow the devils to cut sections of our direction, of our path, right? To go from point A, they shift it around so that now you can go to point A, but you have to take this whole trip to come to this part right here, right? To this part right here, you're not even at point B yet. So they, instead of you going straight through, they keep doing all of these twists. This is what they're talking about when they're talking about things are bending in the concepts of how we face life. Yes, there are things of concepts that we can do, that can alternate maybe the way we look at physics and how physics give us an aspect of how things really are, right? But it doesn't change the fact that this is exact. Where do you think alchemy comes from? Because a lot of the people that used to be real mad scientists, right? A lot of them dealt in the occult. That's why a lot of the things that are very similar to science are very similar to magic. A lot of them has to do with conversion, has to do with transmutation, has to do with. I'm not even going to speak about the rest of the other words, but let's just stick to the two words right now: conversion and transmutation. Transmutation is an object that is still the same, but that can be transferred of another object, but it has of the same mass, meaning it still shares the same of equal value, right? But it just won't look the same. It doesn't have to be the same exact object. That includes your mind, that includes your spirit. You guys understand what I'm saying? Because conversion is the amount of force that's being put into something so that it can simulate a scenario. Okay? And I think I said a whole lot right here. I ain't gonna continue in this direction because we're not here to learn about magic. We're here to learn about, truth. Because truth is in everything. Truth is exactly what you see, what you hear, what you feel. It's not what somebody else is necessarily tell you. Now, yes, Yahuwah created the words of truth. so we can follow these orders so that we do not be stagnant into how people give us an order in life, so we don't have to follow the trend of destruction. That's why I come here to talk to you guys and tell you guys the things that you need to understand, because a lot of what's happening right now, and people will literally fall because they don't realize exactly what they're listening to. A lot of churches don't speak about all of these things, and the reason for that is because there's too much of a trap that's going on. It's a literal rabbit hole. It's a literal tra- uh, rat 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 race. Yeah, is that how you say it? Rat race, however you say it. It's a rabbit hole. It's a rat race. People are falling into their demise because they cannot see exactly what's in front of them. That's why a lot of people, they allow the devils, the demons, the fallens to manipulate them, because they cannot perceive what is in front of them. When you get to a point where you know when something is about to happen before it actually happens, that's when you are in a dangerous place. You are in the most safest place as long as you keep that, right? But you are also in a dangerous place because anything that is sent to you can be literally your downfall. It can be wrapped up because, mind you, Yahuwah might give you something small, but remember, when He gives you something, treasure it. And the reason why you must treasure it is because it's not about the quantity, but the quality of what is given to you. It might not look like much from the outside, but when you unravel that gift, you see that there's so much intact. There's so much depth. There's so much precision and details that have been put into that specific gift that you just were not aware of because you saw that it was small. You just threw it away and threw it in the trash and threw it through the window. Please, I beg you, don't do that. I beg you, please don't do it. We all get chances, and chances are not always what we want it to be. That's the reason why I'm here every day, and I do these things for the sake of us, not necessarily just me. Because if people are not learning, right, and I happen to sell stuff because I used to be a salesman, right, and I happen to sell stuff, it would not change the fact that people are still dealing with the same problems, and there's no resolve, there's no way to fix, there's no, a little problem, there's no way to fix or bring a solution to what is really going on in our life, because we're all dealing with stuff. But at the end of the day, what is the main problem? It's money. It's the way we're thinking. It's the way we're subjugating ourselves to things that are not really interesting, that has no power over us, but then we give it power. These are the important things of what we need to learn, because once we let go of the things that are no longer important to us, this is what it means to say, when I say higher density, lower mass, is because when you detach from the things that can hold you, right, you no longer have the desire to think on a lower level of energy, of frequency, because these things do matter. Because yes, we're talking about spirituality, but spirituality is no difference to what I'm speaking of, because all of these things can be metaphysically manifested. All of these things are aspects of your mind. Remember, your conscience came from somebody's characteristics. So your creator's characteristics is your personality, meaning a bit of him is in you. So the only way for you to exist is because he exists. So if he exists, that means everything that you think. That's why they say your words are like what? They can be someone's destruction or someone obstruction, meaning you can create or destroy with your words, because your mind itself alone can project a reality of something that can literally turn all events, turn everything against the odds of what you never expected. We have to remember who we are. We're not what people tell us so that they can possess you. Because I'll tell you guys, like I said in my previous body, like I said previous body, I mean previous video, these devils and demons and fallens, they require a body because they lost access to all of that. They used to be worshipped. They used to be rulers of the world physically. Now they have to do petty deals, right, that are short term or long term to a certain limit, right? For them to access what they want to do, because they can't live in this world without a body. They just cannot. They like this world because desire is, fulfilled. They turn themselves into fiends, into all of these aspects of wrong, into all of these aspects of sin, all of these aspects of destruction, calamity, lies, confusion, I said construction. I mean contradiction. My apologies. Contradictions. That's why they desire a body. They don't desire a body that's unclean. They desire bodies that have a higher altitude of energy. Because why? They can use that. They can use that body to perform things that are of the spirit more than those that are in the lower mass. Because when you're in the lower mass, you are attached to a lot of things. So they want you to have less so that you can gain more of the things that are of the physical rather than the spiritual. And they to be just they make it very short. Their physical attribute of manipulating matter, right, is more accessible to those that are enlightened rather than those that are not. They can do way more when they have a body with somebody that can already manipulate and manifest things of their own will, right? Rather than somebody that doesn't know nothing about it. You got people that don't know nothing about it, but they do it unconsciously, right? They would go grab a person like that, even those that can do it consciously, but they are wary and cautious of people that can do it consciously because they know that those type of people are able to morph the ideas of a concept, so their delusions do not come in their mind because they live in the physical and the spiritual, knowing and seeing the difference of the two. That's why I come on here every day and I tell you guys, be careful, learn and know your enemies, because your enemies, they work not only against your mind, they work against your spirit and your heart. So everything that you consume, being through your eyes, your mouth, your ears, everything that you do, even in your dreams, it matters because all of these things can take effect. When remember what I told you about dreams, right? Dreams, they use only two things: sight and they use words. Meaning, if they use it could be even a sound, right? If you have a familiar sound, let's just say you have your guard up, right? And you've been praying all the time, but then they show you a baby picture, right, of something because they know you love kids, whatever the case is, right? That is a way to lower your vibration so that they can, right? They might even play a sound that might just affect that image so they can just keep poking at a place where they know that they're going to be defeated at. See, sometimes, like I said, they like pleasure, they like desire. Sometimes they do that because they're fiending for attention. Well, not sometimes. A lot of time they're doing it because they're fiending for attention. They want your attention because when they have your attention, they can somewhat manipulate you and extract your energy. Imagine that something that used to live, right? That even let's just say that it was not destroyed. Their bodies was not destroyed, right? Let's just say that some of these devils and demons, their bodies were not destroyed, right? But they cannot possess that body because that body deteriorated. So what happens? It turns to stone because it loses all of the valuable minerals, right, that are attached to it. Remember what I just told you. I'm not going to speak too much about what I just said, but it turns to stone, right, when they no longer have the material, the minerals to absorb. And what is the finest mineral in this world right now that brings the source of life in the aspect of this reality? If I cut myself, what comes out of it? Is it not blood? Does it not have all of the minerals that carries life? Our DNA, our genes are structures. They are pillars. When you look at the helix, right, of an actual gene, the helix is a structure. It's an altar. It's an altar or something. Well, not an altar, a pillar that holds and connects itself like a ladder onto other structures of your genes, right, to create you. So remember when they speak and say that your body is the temple, the church. Remember, All of these things make sense. You just have to be the person to understand what you're reading, because a lot of people are reading these words as if it's just another book. It's not. That's why when you are not you don't consider yourself a scholar of the word and of the truth, you will miss out on a lot of good information in these scriptures. Because the buy and bow was not called the buy and bow in the older days. They were not. They were not called the buy and bow. They were called something else. Now that's for you to go and look for. Okay? Because I be saying a whole lot of stuff that I know that personally, I said TikTok. I mean, I know that YouTube, they're not gonna do nothing because I don't say everything, but I give you guys enough as of a hint because I don't want to create conspiracies here, right? Because everything that I say here is truth. If YouTube want to go and flag me or anything like that, or anybody wants to report me, trust and believe that will get dismissed immediately, unless YouTube themselves they crash their entire app and whatever the case is. And I highly doubt that they got time to do that. And I don't really care because it's not really my problem. I know that this message is gonna reach you regardless. Regardless. So right here, um, I told you guys a lot. Um, I love you all, and I always talk about love at the end of all my videos. So stop with the toxic stuff. It's not needed. Okay. If you cannot not be toxic, you will be avoided. Um, you will be avoided with a stiff arm, with the greatest of all stiff arms that a stiff arm can ever be. All right. Um, I don't know what else to say because men need to be more like men. Stand on exactly what you say. That don't mean put your hands on a woman. That don't mean curse all the time because you don't need to curse at all. And that's another thing. Stick to what you're given. Yes, we have options, but that's the reason why there's too much partying going on because a lot of people have options and they don't know how to respect the little things that they have. That's why there's no more integrity because everybody is going for the trends. They're not going for what they're blessed, what they're gifted and favored with. For the bipolar situations, that includes women as well. So everything that I'm saying, this goes for men and women. So bipolar, if you are bipolar, please stop it. That's a spirit. That's a real spirit. That is a real spirit. That's not a that's not a disorder. A lot of people that are saying that they got disorders. The only probably disorder I would consider a disorder, which is not even a disorder, is OCD. OCD, obsessive cleaning disorder. That's literally not even a disorder. It's just the fact that like that's your personality. You don't like things to be dirty, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, as far as everything else, when people say ADHD, all of this, like fam, I'm just saying. Or you have to go and smoke because you feel depressed. I smoked for a very long time. I used to smoke like 12 blunts, fam. Like, yo, it's not even a joke. I used to go. I used to go days where I couldn't even. Well, I said I used to go. There used to be days I could not even smoke. I couldn't even wake up. Like the first thing I did when I woke up was I already had a blunt rolled. If I didn't have a blunt rolled, man, I was gonna roll one, regardless. I wasn't really much of a drinker. I drank though. The moment I decided to stop smoking, I stopped. And I knew that it wasn't just my decision; it was agreed upon by in the heavens. Because obviously, it did not take me years for me to do. It didn't take me months or weeks. It took me one day, one decision. I just stopped. Not that I get nauseated when I smell it. I don't even get flashbacks. I laugh at stuff like that because my memories are my best attributes of what created me to be the biggest giant that I can be right now. So when people tell you to leave your past in the past, don't forget your past. Don't forget it. Because remember that Yahoo will help you throughout all of those tribulations. You just don't realize it. because all the things that is of your memory is literally the staircase to however many steps you then took to get to the place that you're at right now. So don't forget the past. Let go of the things that hold you, meaning make you angry, that make you be deflective, that just pushes you in the wrong direction of what you don't need to be. But do not forget the past. Because you were given help, you were given angels, you were given aid when you had nobody. And he was there for you thick and thin. Don't forget. Do not forget throughout your entire life. That's why I don't walk around and I'm not a puppet to nobody at all. People can say whatever they want in this world, but it doesn't change much. And I want you guys to think of it like that, brothers and sisters. If you're either in a relationship or you're not, if you're married or you're about to be married, think of it like that. Be an equivalent to yourself, because a lot of times people don't have great conversations before they get intimate. They don't have great conversations. They don't even give the option to even be able to conversate, to talk. They don't even give people the time to really talk, to learn more about each other. They'd rather do things that are slick and do all of these heinous acts of stuff that are not necessary. Learn about the person that you want to be with. Talk to the person that you want to be with. Ask questions to the person that you want to be with. Don't come stalking the person. Don't come being obsessive to the person. Don't be toxic to the person, because what if that person gets over it? You get what I mean? Like, you guys have to understand that men and women, when I say guys, I'm talking about the collective, not just one type of person or being. We have to all understand that all our emotions matter. Doesn't matter if you're a man and you don't like to show your emotion, doesn't matter. You are emotional too. And some of us, we were raised by our mothers, right? So we learn to be emotional without even us knowing it. So some of us, we learn how to control these things and learn how to balance what it is, because there's nothing wrong with being raised by a single mom, right? But there's also a problem with that, because a lot of times there's not really certain things that that a mom can teach you that a man is supposed to. But it doesn't change the fact that you cannot learn certain things on your own. Doesn't mean that you cannot grow. You cannot grow outside a mindset of being able to actually be wise, because who else is your father if it's not Elohim? So if you really believe in Elohim, you have trust and you have faith, he's going to give you wisdom in the times of when you really need it. In the times of when you need the shortcomings of the things that you were not taught. Because a woman can teach what she can teach to a man, but she cannot teach a man to be a man. She can teach a man how to be a good man to a woman, meaning how she would like to be treated. She could teach that man. She could teach her son exactly how that could be. But as far as a woman to teach a young man how to be a man, it's not possible. It's not possible. So if the man is feminine, and if the husband is feminine and the wife is feminine, obviously, right? The son is going to be very flamboyant and feminine, unless he got very masculine friends, and they're the people that they hang around. They're very masculine, but at the end of the day, ratio I said proposition, but no, proportional, lifestyle and understanding what is. But I'm not gonna hold you guys up from any longer. Just stop being toxic. Really, stop being toxic, because some people are gonna get blocked. That's just how I look at it, or you're just not gonna get my attention. Just that simple. Just too much things going on right now, and I don't take my heart as a joke. I don't take my heart as a joke. I don't think any of you should as well. You feel me? So there are things that people are acceptable of, and there's certain things that people are just not. I stand on integrity, principles, and morals. I don't care what anybody say. You can do left and right, up and down. The moment you come to me and this is not going exactly with what I have in my heart and what is of my spirit, you will not catch me anywhere around it. Like people that I used to hang around with that smoke, they confused as to why I don't smoke. They try to smoke around me, trying to get me riled up, get me fired up, and I don't even budge. I actually asked them, can you kindly not smoke around me? Simple. Can you not smoke around me? I don't smoke no more. I don't want that smell to be on me. I don't want my hoodie to smell like straight marijuana, like straight weed. I don't want it at all. That includes me drinking. I don't drink. So please stop with the toxic stuff. Please understand that everybody is not like everybody. And keep yourselves in the mindset of what you need to be. Because that's exactly who you're going to be. Everybody can literally input negative, programming in your mind. So you can be corrupted quite easily if you don't have a strong standing, if you don't have a solid foundation for you to walk on. So remember that. A lot of people talk about Christ, but they don't even know who Christ is. They don't even know what, as to why, as to whom, as to when. You feel me? These things really matter. And the people that are being attacked the most, I hope this message goes to you so that you can learn something from this, so that you can take this and actually use it in your life, because we're all fighting the same war, but just in different situations, in different scenarios, but the same war. I love you all so much. And Yahuwah loves you dearly. Favor unto you, protection unto you, okay? Abundance unto you, wisdom, discernment, okay? Love you all. If somebody didn't tell you they love you today, I love you. I love you dearly. And shalom to you.